Welcome to Boring News from Not Boring, where we bring you the news as Polymarket sees it. I'm your host, Packy McCormick's voice, and my job is to put my mouth where your money is. Today is January 2nd. The International Longshoremen's Association faces a potential strike at East and Gulf Coast ports in January, with automation and job security at the forefront. On Polymarket, there's around a 39% chance of a strike, amidst a volume of over $74,000. Two violent incidents on January 1st in New Orleans and Las Vegas are under investigation for terrorism links. On Polymarket, speculation about a connection shows around 22% believing in a link, with trading volume surging past $120,000 within 24 hours. In South Korea, President Yoon faces an arrest warrant after declaring martial law. On Polymarket, odds suggest around a 73% chance of arrest by January 31st, with intense trading volume at over $500,000. Now let's hit today's stories. The International Longshoremen's Association is facing a potential strike at East and Gulf Coast ports in January. This follows a temporary agreement that ended a previous strike until January 15th. The main issues are automation and job security, with the current contract running out soon. The market shows concern about a strike's economic impact, which could upset supply chains and raise costs. Past strikes have caused major disruptions in U.S. trade. In October, a three-day strike marked the first significant labor action in nearly 50 years on these coasts. The ILA and the United States Maritime Alliance reached a tentative deal with a 62% wage increase over 6 years, extending the contract until January 15th. However, talks have stalled on automation issues. If they can't agree by then, a coast-wide strike could start on January 16th, potentially disrupting supply chains. Negotiations are currently stuck, with the January 15th deadline coming fast. The ILA hints at renewed strikes if demands are unmet. Experts think a strike is more likely given stalled talks and political backing from Donald Trump for the union's anti-automation stance. The previous October strike already caused big supply chain issues, costing billions, and another could worsen inflation and logistics. Market interest is rising as the deadline nears. The October deal paused a three-day strike, but talks have stalled, making a strike more likely and causing market activity to surge. Trump's support for the ILA against automation adds complexity and affects market sentiment. On Polymarket, activity is high with a total volume of over $74,000. Current odds show around a 39% chance of a strike, reflecting cautious outlooks as talks stall over key issues like automation and job security. Voices on X and in traditional media express concern about a possible strike. Tweets highlight fears of economic chaos and inflation if a strike happens. News reports focus on stalled talks and Trump's support for the ILA, which may sway public opinion and negotiations. There's anxiety about trade and economic impacts, with calls for an agreement before the deadline. If the strike happens, it could stop operations at key ports, disrupting goods flow and increasing inflationary pressures as seen in past strikes. Automation and job security are central issues. If no agreement is reached by January 15th, a strike could start on January 16th, affecting shipping and raising costs for consumers. But if a last-minute deal is made, it could stabilize operations and lessen economic impact, highlighting a key moment in maritime labor relations. Let's move on to the next story. Two violent incidents on January 1st have captured national attention. In New Orleans, a pickup truck driven into a crowd on Bourbon Street resulted in at least 15 deaths. The FBI is investigating it as a potential terrorist act. The suspect, Shamsuddin Jabbar, a military veteran, reportedly expressed ISIS-inspired motives online. An ISIS flag and explosive devices found in his vehicle suggest he may not have acted alone. Simultaneously, in Las Vegas, a Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump Hotel is under investigation for terrorism links. Both vehicles were rented from Turo, prompting authorities to explore any connections between these attacks. President Biden confirms law enforcement is examining potential links. On Polymarket, speculation about a connection between the two incidents is intense. Trading volume has surged past $120,000 within 24 hours. Odds currently stand at around 22% believing in a connection and around 78% doubting it. The high trading volume and liquidity indicate strong engagement driven by the ongoing investigation. Users on X and news outlets show mixed reactions. Some speculate coordination, given the rental service link, while others remain skeptical without solid evidence. The FBI is treating the New Orleans attack as a potential terrorist act, but no direct connection to the Las Vegas explosion has been confirmed. As investigations continue, the implications for national security remain significant. Let's move on to our story. South Korea is in political turmoil as President Yoon faces an arrest warrant. The crisis began after Yoon declared martial law on December 3rd, leading to his impeachment by Parliament on December 14th. Protests erupted, and a court approved the warrant on December 30th. Now, on January 2nd, Yoon remains defiant, resisting arrest for the third day. He vows to fight against what he calls anti-state forces. This situation marks a first in South Korea, with serious charges of abuse of power and insurrection looming over Yoon. The court's deadline for executing the warrant is January 6th, and the Corruption Investigation Office insists it will act within this timeframe. The public is deeply divided. Protests and counter-protests are happening outside Yoon's residence. His supporters and security detail have previously blocked law enforcement efforts. On Polymarket, trading is intense, with a volume of over $500,000. Current odds suggest around a 73% chance of arrest by January 31st. Social media platform X is buzzing with divided opinions. Some demand Yoon's immediate arrest, while others call the actions against him a witch hunt. Traditional news outlets note his defiance and the significant public unrest around the situation. The implications are far-reaching. If Yoon is arrested, it could lead to severe legal consequences, including life imprisonment. Resistance from his supporters complicates the arrest, risking violent clashes. If Yoon evades arrest, it could deepen South Korea's political divide. The outcome will impact the nation's governance and international relations. Each of the stories we covered today is ongoing and may change dramatically. For updates and detailed odds, head to polymarket.com. That's all the news that's fit to predict. This is me, Packy McCormick's voice, signing off. May the odds be ever in your favor.